As Father Pieber mentioned in the introduction, this coming Sunday will be the great feast of Pentecost. And we recall the scene on that day. The apostles, the Blessed Mother, and others were gathered. They were lost. Jesus had been their leader. For the previous 3 years, he had told them where to go and what to do, and now he was gone. And so they were leaderless. They were wondering, what shall we do? They were afraid. There was a crowd gathered outside. This was the Jewish Feast of Weeks, the feast that in Greek was called Pentecost. This was the same crowd that 50 days before had turned against Jesus and demanded his death. And now the apostles were afraid. Will the crowd turn on them as well? They were an homogeneous group. They had all been born right there in Judea, Galilee area. They all spoke Aramaic. They were all of the Jewish faith. They were more alike than they were different. And there they were. And suddenly the Holy Spirit came down among them and changed them. Moments later, they had a sense of mission. They had a sense of purpose. They went out, and they knew now certainly what Jesus wanted of them: to preach the gospel, the good news, and that they did. And they did it fearlessly. They were no longer afraid of the reaction of the crowd. They were anxious that the crowd would now convert. And they were speaking languages besides Aramaic, speaking all sorts of languages people were hearing from them, symbolizing that the church was now about to move from its roots in Aramaic Judaism to the world. And as I mentioned, one of the people sitting there with the apostles was our Blessed Mother. And she is the perfect model for us as we consider whether that Holy Spirit that we initially received in our baptism and was confirmed in our confirmation, whether that Holy Spirit is now having the same effect on our lives. Because our Blessed Mother, first of all, had a great sense of direction from the time that she was a young girl and the angel appeared to her. She said, "Not my will, just tell me what you want and I'll do it." She had a sense of purpose. She was not afraid. While all the apostles had fled, we're told that at the foot of the cross, at the foot of the hostile crowd, Mary stood, comforting her son. What amazing courage. And we know that our Blessed Mother did not stay restricted to an Aramaic Judaism. But since that time, our Blessed Mother has appeared worldwide, whether it be our own Rue de Bac, whether it be Fatima, whether it be Lourdes, whether it be Medjugorje, Guadalupe, Almost every culture has learned to respect our Blessed Mother. As a matter of fact, a week and a half ago, I was speaking with the priest from the Diocese of Albany, who's in charge of interfaith dialogue. And he mentioned to me that one of the points of contact, similarity that we have with the Islam, with the Muslim faith, is their great respect for the Blessed Mother. And so we need to ask ourselves whether, as devotees of the Blessed Mother, we have been affected by the Holy Spirit, confirmed by that Spirit. First of all, do we seek the direction, the mission from God? Is God a part of our decision-making? Just like Mary said, "Your will be done," do we do that before all important decisions? Whether it be what we're going to do when we get up in the morning, whether it be where we're going to go to college or our grandchildren go to college, whether it be what job we're going to do, whether it be how we're going to spend our money, who we're going to marry, who we're going to see. As you listen to those petitions that Father read before Mass, so many people are seeking direction. And the Blessed Mother teaches us that the Holy Spirit will give us that sense of direction. Secondly, courage. You know, it takes courage to live our faith. It takes courage when our friends begin to tell jokes that are inappropriate, that put down people, when people make ethnic slurs, when people cheat in business. It takes real courage to say, "No, I don't do that. That's not what I believe. That's not what I do." It takes real courage to be countercultural, to be different than other people, to actually live our faith, not just say we're Catholic, but to live it, and live it so that others see it. Just offer one small example to you. When you go out to a restaurant to eat, even a Denny's, do you bless yourself before you eat? Or do we kind of hide that so that others don't see us do it? And so I ask, the second thing. And thirdly, do we seek out others who are different than ourselves, or are we content to remain in our own little comfort zones? When we walk into a room, do we look for people who look like us, talk like us, are like us? Or do we look for people who have a diversity to their lives, a difference to their lives? Are we attracted to the differences and respect the differences that other people have? Or do we prefer to stay in our own little narrow comfort zone and be with our own? And so today, as we prepare for Pentecost, we look at our Blessed Mother in three areas for her help. Number one, in seeking the guidance of God in all of our important decisions. Secondly, the courage not only to be Catholic, but to act Catholic. And thirdly, to seek out others who are different from ourselves and learn to love the differences.